Over the last 10 months or so of owning my iPad, I have really honed in how I use it, how I like to have it set up, and it has changed quite a bit since my very first video when I set up my iPad for reading, gaming, and just general fun. So I'm gonna give a few tips and tricks as well of how I kind of aesthetically set up my iPad. I just gave it a little bit of a makeover with some new fresh stickers, and it's all set up for springtime. I just did kind of a revamp. Very excited to take you on a tour around my iPad. So just a brief overview of the specs, just in case you're curious. This is the iPad Air, the 5th generation. I bought this in May of 2024. Right before the new line of iPads came out, and honestly it works perfectly well for what I'm doing with it. I don't edit video or use really huge files on this. It's mostly for fun and just kind of basic digital journaling and gaming purposes. I also use the 2nd gen Apple Pencil. For me, this was a must have with the iPad. I just knew that when I was buying this, I added this into my budget because I use the pencil so much. As you can see, I also just have a clear silicone case on mine. I also have a screen protector on the front. I do also pay for Apple Care for this, just for peace of mind. Hi friends, we are here on my iPad home screen, and the first thing you might notice is that I do have kind of a cohesive color theme going on here. I prefer like a dark kind of moody look for my iPad, but I do switch it up kind of seasonally with the pictures and the colors. The first thing that I just wanted to point out is that I do tint my icons just by holding on the screen, hitting the edit in the top left corner, hitting customize, and then I use this tinted feature, which is a new iOS feature. This does kind of put the apps in dark mode while it's tinting them to this color, which is something that I personally like, but it's the reason why my wallpaper looks a little bit like grayed out. In reality, it's a white background, but this tinting feature just kind of like gives everything a cohesive look that I really like, and I just keep it neutral. I also have a lot of aesthetic photo widgets here. For all of these widgets, other than a few of these custom app ones, I just use the app Widgetsmith. You can use extra large, medium, and small for photos, for clocks, for countdowns. My personal favorite is this moon phase one that I have here. Those are all free on the Widgetsmith app. I would highly recommend it. I also use the Shortcuts app, which is how I have this little widget here for like my planner, and it just opens up to my planner. These are things that I use all the time. So I did just want to go over a quick way to customize things like these widgets and app shortcuts, so that you can actually replace the icons if you want. Everything is basically just done in the Shortcuts app. I have a few of these set up here, as you can see. So like for my Libby app, for example, I have one created just because I don't love the Libby app icon. So to create a shortcut, you can create it in just a normal little app size like this, or again, you can make it this widget size. So to add a new shortcut, all you do is go into this app, you press the plus. You just basically, if you wanted to open an app and serve as like a replacement for the kind of ugly icon, you just go open app and then say it's just like maybe you want to replace the Kindle. You just tell it what to do, and then on the new shortcut you can rename it. You can also choose the icon. You can either do these kind of generic ones that they provide for you. You can change the colors, and then they have tons of icons here. Or to upload your own photo, they make it really unintuitive in my opinion. I think this app is quite confusing for no reason. But if you just click either the eye here or this little upload arrow, and then click add to home screen, this is where you can also upload your own photo as an icon. So whether you found that online or created it yourself in something like Canva, you can just choose the photo. I actually have a little collection of app icons here. You can just choose the app icon, add it, and that will be a custom icon. And then to get like this widget size one, again, it's totally unintuitive in my opinion. You can't do it from the Shortcuts app. You have to add a widget and then go down to the Shortcuts widget. You can see it's pulling that most recent shortcut we made. That's how you get this kind of widget size shortcut to perform an action. So I hope that makes sense. I like to have a variety of like sizes and colors on my screens. So those are just some of the ways that I like to personalize my iPad screens. So the way that I have it set up here, we'll just kind of talk about some of my favorite apps, my most used apps. On this front homepage, we have, as I said, my planner. This is my hue lights. These are Philips Hue. I have these all over my house. I have just these quick actions where I can like turn on and off my desk light or my bedroom lights. My YouTube apps, Pinterest, and my Notion. And then down here I have my photos, my Hue again, Chrome, settings, and the calendar. And then I really love this little Animal Crossing Pocket Camp widget. It is so cute. It basically just like gives a little quote. The character changes every day, and then it shows me the calendar date as well. We'll get into more of my games here in a minute, but that's definitely one of my most used apps on my iPad. Then my second page here is basically my reading page. I do have this set up as a specific reading focus, but honestly, I found that I don't use the focuses. If you pull up this little kind of task, whatever bar this is called, the focuses are basically where you can set up a custom screen to its own aesthetic and theme. It can look totally different than your other pages. You can mute notifications. You can reduce interruptions. Like this is my reading focus. I just keep mine on the do not disturb. I use this for everything because you'll notice there are no social apps on this iPad. I do not keep like important emails and banking and work things on this. So I don't get notifications, and I really don't need to minimize distractions because when I'm on my iPad, I'm just here for a good time. I don't need to place any restrictions on myself. I do go over the focuses in my other iPad video that I will link if you are interested in that. So this is my reading screen. I really wish my Kindle widget was working. I don't know if it was a recent update or what, but it should show the book cover here. So I'm not sure what that's about. And then my book journal here. Again, I just have this set up to open with one of those shortcut widgets. I have my Audible, my Goodreads, my Libby here. As like I mentioned, I did use one of the custom icons for the Libby app. My Kindle app, do like to browse books, like Kindle Unlimited things. This is my current Kindle book that I'm reading. I'm thinking about doing a video where I read on my iPad, but we'll see about that. I do like to have it here just for like referencing things, pictures, if I am in a pinch, and my Everand app. This is a new audiobook ebook subscription that I'm trying out. I do have a link for a free trial in the description if you're interested. Listening to an audiobook right now, When the Moon Hatched. I do like to listen to audiobooks on here when I'm just like laying in bed and I'm maybe just browsing Pinterest or I'm playing a game, but I do use Audible sometimes. I'm paused right now on my membership there. My Libby app, I absolutely am obsessed with it. So I do tend to listen to audiobooks on my iPad more than I read. So I do a lot of browsing for books. I do reference Goodreads a lot when I'm doing like book journal spreads. And then I just have a couple cute widgets. And then this is kind of just like everything else. I do have the iPad tips widget here because I feel like even though I've had my iPad for almost a year now, I have like not even scratched the surface, I feel, with like all of the kind of hidden features and controls and things like that. So I do like to have this here. And then I just keep like a big aesthetic picture widget here just to fill the space. I just like the way it looks. So I have a few folders here. So this is just kind of like what I call iPad stuff, which is boring things like mail and files. Freeform is a free app that also comes with the iPad. On Freeform, you can basically, it's like a cheap Procreate. You can draw, color, create stickers. It is a nice free option that comes with the iPad. I don't use color widgets, but it is something that I like to have there if I do want to kind of change up how I customize my widgets. And then again, my shortcuts and my Widgetsmith app, which I use quite often. So then I have my photos and videos here. I do my video editing in iMovie, but on my MacBook. I do have Visco here. This is like my favorite photo editor. And then Shuffles, which is like Pinterest's collage app. And then I also have 3 stock photo apps that I do actually use quite often for a lot of like my wallpapers and my book journaling. So I use these quite a lot just to browse different types of photos. I also use FreePic a lot for a lot of my content, but I just like to have these here. This is Pexels, Pixabay, and Unsplash. I use them a lot for my blog, all that kind of stuff. So I do like to have those. This is just my shopping. I don't even keep my Amazon app on here because I really just like to browse for more recreational things on my iPad. So I have Pango Books, which is new to me. I feel like I have a few books that I might want to list on Pango and just start browsing that. You guys know that I love used books, so I do a lot of used book and kind of special edition browsing on a lot of these apps. I also am a huge eBay advocate, and I do a lot of shopping for retro gaming on eBay. I browse eBay a lot. As you can see, I have been toying with the idea of getting a retro PS Vita. I'm always looking for like 3DS games, Switch games, just kind of more like vintage physical media I am a big fan of. So I use eBay a lot. And I also have Mercari and OfferUp, which are just kind of similar secondhand, you know, consumer to consumer types of apps. And then we go into my games. Like I said, this is one of my favorite things to do on my iPad. Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail are probably my most used on this iPad. One of the main reasons that I even bought an iPad was so that I can play Genshin when I'm traveling and I don't have access to my PC or my PS5. One of my top games of all time, and it runs pretty well on the iPad. Genshin is a fantasy open world RPG that I have been playing for almost 4 years, so that is a huge one for me. Honkai Star Rail is similar. It's just a turn-based version, kind of based more in like space. Then I have a couple other random Disney games. You guys know I'm a big Disney fan. I don't really play these much, but we have Disney's Twisted Wonderland, which is kind of like a more story-driven. Disney Magic Kingdoms, which is a free app. It's kind of like one of those, you just meet characters, open up different areas, kind of do a lot of like tapping and collecting resources. Pixel RPG, this one's really cute as well. I've recently tried it out. A lot of the free games that I play are like gacha games where you kind of gamble and like wish on getting certain characters and whatnot. This Pixel RPG is similar. Then we have Stardew Valley, which is my favorite game of all time, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I own it on mobile, PC, and on my Switch. So I just have it here if I'm like really in a pinch, but I honestly prefer it with a controller. But anytime that I have my iPad, I have my Switch available, so I just play it on my Switch. Then we have Heyday, which is one of my OG iPad games. I used to play this on my very first iPad that I ever had, like back in 2000, I don't know, 2010 or something. Very similar to like a Farmville, if you guys are around my age, remember Farmville on Facebook. Just like one of those really addicting farming where you just can collect resources, you feed your animals, you farm, you do all that kind of stuff. And then Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete, which Pocket Camp used to be a free game with a lot of microtransactions. Again, they recently released complete version. So this game is now $20. And to be honest, it is so worth it. It has a lot of really cute items. If you enjoy collecting clothes and decor and talking to all of the cute little animals, you can fish, you can catch bugs, all this kind of stuff. I highly recommend this one. I tend to check in on that one pretty much daily, just for like 5 or 10 minutes. It's a really cute, relaxing game. One of my go-tos on the iPad. So other than games, Disney Plus is the only streaming service that I really use. Sometimes I prop this up when I'm in bed and just like put on an old Disney movie. But honestly, I don't watch much on here, but YouTube and sometimes my Disney Plus. Then I just have notes, Good Notes. That's what these are. My book and planners are through Good Notes, but I just use those shortcuts. So my Good Notes app is here. The App Store, Canva, which I do love. Canva, I'm a huge proponent of Canva, but again, I prefer it on my desktop. And then Procreate, which I have not tried out yet. I'm very intimidated by it, but I did buy it because it's only $12.99. And I would like to use it more for like doodling on like my thumbnails or my Instagram posts, just kind of using it more for content and just maybe like relaxing with some more, you know, creative doodling. That is everything on my iPad. I hope you guys enjoyed this little tour. Maybe gave you some ideas of how you can customize your iPad experience. If you have any questions about how I use my iPad, any of the apps that I'm using, please feel free to let me know in the comments. Let me know of any other iPad content you'd like to see on the channel. I also have an entire playlist of iPad book journaling videos on the channel if you're interested in that. That's one of the things that I have loved using my iPad for the absolute most. So I will leave that linked if you are interested. Please be sure to subscribe before you go, and I will see you in the next video.